Fix this. That is the instruction from the President and Commander-in-Chief this week to Nigeria's security chiefs in the effort to tackle security challenges bedeviling the nation. Also on Political Update today, the political winds are gathering in Edo State. The state's slogan is the heartbeat of the nation. However, it is the hearts of the politicians there that are beating faster at the moment as the race to the government house gathers momentum. The drum beats from Edo have not been with any particular pattern, although the path to the top table is well mapped out. New teammates and alliances are emerging all the time as contestants find the strongest backs to climb on to get statewide approval. We'll also conclude our legislative series on the 9th Assembly as it marks 1 year in office. My name is Fisai Ogunfui. Welcome. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has postponed the Edo State governorship primary election earlier scheduled for today, Friday, the 19th of June, and Saturday, the 20th of June, to Tuesday, the 23rd of June, 2020.
The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has postponed the Edo State governorship primary election, earlier scheduled for Friday, June 19 and Saturday, June 20, 2020, to a new date of Tuesday, June 23, 2020. A statement from the party's National Publicity Secretary, Kola Olobodion, says the decision is predicated on exigencies of party activities. It adds that all governorship aspirants, critical stakeholders, party faithful and teaming supporters, particularly in Edo State, are to accordingly take note. The party further reminded members that all activities shall be in accordance with the Nigeria Center for Disease Control's guidelines on COVID-19, as it concerns social and physical distancing at public gatherings.
And reports reaching us from Benin City says there are some political recalibration going on, because we'll be giving you updates of that from Benin as it unfolds. We would let you know what is happening exactly in Benin, especially as far as the government house is concerned. The All Progressive Congress has inaugurated the party's Edo State governorship primary election and elections appeal committees for National Vice Chairman South of the party. Hilad Ita inaugurated the committees.
Activities at the APC National Secretariat are building up ahead of the 2020 Edo and Ondo governorship elections. This event is preceding the June 22nd Edo State governorship primary election after the successful screening of the party's aspirants. The 7-member primary election committee has Imo State Governor Hope Uzodimma as chairman, Senator Ajibola Bashiru as secretary, and the 5-member primary election appeal committee has Yusuf Ibrahim Naji as chairman and Kayode Ajulo as secretary.
Their job is very simple: to carry out the process of selecting the flag bearer of the party in Edo State.
There is a law there now that does not allow more than 20 people to gather at a space. That is one of the beauties of direct primaries. So when we get down to Edo State, we deploy the necessary manpower to the various polling units, with also a definite instruction that will not violate the local legislation, that will enable our members not to gather more than 20 people at a place. And by so doing, with a segmented approach, we will conduct a transparent, free and fair primaries.
The committees have assured credibility and fairness in the discharge of the task ahead.
As we earlier told you, there are activities right now in Benin City that in a few short hours, the governor of Edo State will be disclosing the party on whose platform he will be running for the gubernatorial elections in that state later this year. We'll be giving you all that as it unfolds on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Now, the 9th National Assembly, that is the Federal House of Representatives and the Senate, has been itemizing their interventions, bills and resolutions in the past year. The view is that while it is a good start, there's need for proactive legislations to address the socio-economic exigencies occasioned by the new normal.
Our determination is to evolve a well-resourced Senate with a vision and a great sense of commitment to securing a prosperous future for our great nation.
As you are aware, the Nice Senate is a very active Senate. This Senate, much as we want to do the right things in the interest of Nigerians, we ask the right questions, but we want to collaborate and cooperate with the executive, because that's the only way you can move the country forward. That's the only way citizens can benefit.
Our mission is clear and our path is defined. With God on our side and with the support of our people, we will not fail.
Our responsibility as an institution is not something that we will continue to operate in isolation, given our constitutional powers or constitutional privileges or responsibilities. We must have to work together on the same page to provide what people expect of us.
Members have also come to realize that what is important is what they take back to their constituencies, not engaging in any fiscal or quarrels.
All right, joining us in the studio is Honorable Chinedu Oga, ON, representing as South and Equal Federal Constituency of Ebonyi State. Thank you, Comrade Honorable, for joining us on the program.
Thank you, and God bless you.
You are from an agrarian area, but before then, let me ask you, it's been a mixed year so far. We started with that January to December budget cycle that was affected by the 9th Assembly. But apart from that, what are the key interventions? First, from your own contributions on the floor, as well as, the Assembly in general at this time.
Yes, definitely. I have done a lot since the ascension of office in 19th November 2019, because I came in through court, and by December I had the first motion, because my constituency have a crisis between us and the Cross River, and the intervention on the motion I moved in the House tried to bring a peace in that place between Equal, Cross River and other places, and we were able to meet the National Assembly member from those areas, and we were able to reach out and compromise the need why there should be a permanent peace to our people.
What is the state of play now there?
The state of play is that since ascension there have never been any shootout, any casualty or anything, any problem. So there is already peace returning to those areas.
Now let's look at your area. NTA has done, documentaries in a lot of quantity in terms of the rise of revolution in Nigeria. Ebonyi State stands as one of the states that has showed a lot of initiative in terms of the rice value chain. Tell us a bit about how the current situation, the pandemic, and that has affected agrarian activities in your area, and what has been done to at least mitigate the effects, especially for rural farmers.
Yes, the aspect in which this pandemic have affected the farmers in my constituency is the bringing fertilizer, because most of these fertilizers are supposed to come outside the state, and due to the lockdown we could not have access to all these herbicide, fertilizer and so many other things, and that is the only effect. But the aspect of the manpower that helps to cultivate those rice farms, they are there. So, and due to this rice chain value that Mr. President have introduced to this country, he have really helped out, especially my constituency. If not the effort that the border is closed, today every person in my constituency that is a farmer can beat his chest and say that yes, he can afford to pay the school fees of his children because of what he have generated in his rice farming and other agrarian, because of how they are able to put more effort in their farming system.
Actually, being a reporter myself, I would have expected that maybe a few bags would have also check the quality personally. But let's quickly move on.
Yeah, that one is not a problem. I'm a farmer, so by the time I leave here, I will definitely you will going to have yours.
Let's move on the program. You are a young, legislator, and we've seen young, members of the House of Rep coming also on the program, talking about the interventions they've made. How has it been for the young ones, especially who are trying to be a part of the Nigerian political system? Before, it was a bit tough for the younger generation to get into positions like this, but now, how has it been in terms of exchange of view and your contributions on the floor?
Yes, definitely I've really try as much as I can. The struggle was not easy from my constituency because I won from a minority party in the southeast and the APC in that matter. But due to the little thing we have done to affect the life in our constituency, the masses stand by me to vote for me. And when I came into the National Assembly, we have done a lot. First of all, we have to commend the effort of the leadership of the House. Because if not the effort of the leadership, I'm able to give an open door policy to every elected member to have a contribution to his own opinion in the floor of the House. If you have anything, you can meet the speaker at any moment. And since that, I have done a lot. The establishment of Federal Polytechnic to one, Akaniban Federal Polytechnic, is not trying to the law. But when I come in, I was able to sponsor the bill in making sure that such is being in act. And equally, at Let's Ekome Federal University, it was the only act in Federal University in Dufalike. Alex Ekome, which the name was renamed, is not on the act. So it's a part of the thing I have done, and equally a bill to establish food science technology in one of my local government. So the bill have passed first and second reading. So there is a lot we have done, and especially motions which we have done, and those things people are seeing it, and we're able to achieve that because we have a very good quality leadership in National Assembly.
Being a young man and you're growing grace like me, and perhaps it's the tedious nature of legislation, but we'll move from there very quickly. Let me take this next story before we have a second conversation on security. Once we get our experts online, will also begin that conversation. But while we're waiting for that, let's take some highlights of some of the political events of the week. As the Edo State gubernatorial election is drawing close, Ondo State is equally warming up. Governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu, was at the State House earlier in the week.
Rotimi Akeredolu was in the State House to formally inform President Muhammadu Buhari of his desire to recontest in the forthcoming Ondo State governorship election.
Having obtained the expression of interest and nomination form, I decided to let the president know of the fact that I will be contesting election again, and that I pray God Almighty that I will be successful, and that I needed His blessing.
The Ondo State governor told newsmen that his chances of flying the governing party's flag once more and indeed winning the election are very bright.
Direct, indirect, Aketi is a goal. We will win. In office for over 3 years, easily for me, I've done reasonable work in Ondo State, and it is there for everybody to see. It's not something that is hidden. We've gone on the issue of infrastructure, we've gone on our schools, we've gone on the universities, we have gone everywhere. You remember the president visiting Ondo Lean Industrial Hub. That is a monumental achievement, and he has said to me pointedly, you have done very well in Ondo State. That can go for the president supporting you.
Ondo State governorship election comes up on the 10th of October this year, while the first term tenure of office of Governor Akeredolu expires on February 23rd, 2021.
Okay, let's look at it from the political landscape. We've seen that there's a lot of synergy between parties at the moment in the floor of the House, both in the House of Assembly, the House of Representatives and the Senate. What has occasioned this? Is it perhaps you're seeing the bigger picture in terms of national development?
Yes, the truth of it is that there is a symbol we have in National Assembly that called a joint task force. Joint task force is the interest of the nation first, before your personal interests. And the leadership of the National Assembly see the interests of the nation, that we have to make sure we carry out the legislative to make sure all the interests of Nigerians are being achieved first before any other thing. And that is why you see the achievement so far.
Okay, and let's quickly move on to one of our main stories today. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the nation's armed forces and security agencies in the country to immediately reverse the current worrisome trend in the security situation of the country. The president described the situation as intolerable. Let's hear from State House correspondent Adamu Sambo.
President Muhammadu Buhari summoned the meeting in response to the declining security situation in the country, which according to him is very embarrassing. During the closed-door meeting with the operational heads of the various security services as well as their intelligence components, the president described as unacceptable the continuous attacks and killings of defenseless Nigerians by criminal elements. The National Security Advisor, Babagana Munguno, who addressed newsmen after the meeting, said President Buhari has virtually lost his cool.
He is extremely unhappy about what is happening, and he feels that even though the security agencies are doing their best is not good enough for him, and he wants an immediate reversal of the current trend, an immediate reversal of our misfortunes in all their dimensions.
In no uncertain terms, the president told the security chiefs that none of them was forced on him. Rather, he selected them individually based on available records, and therefore living up to their expectations is a task that must not be compromised.
And therefore, he wants the security agencies to take into consideration the wider implication of the gradual descent of the security of this country. The security agencies must justify the leadership by not disappointing the populace. He is not going to accept any further escalation of the security situation.
President Buhari said unless the nation is effectively secured, the pursuit of national development objectives will be an exercise in futility. He said the proliferation of drugs, small arms, and light weapons must be checked, so also the use of unregistered SIM cards.
Mr. President has directed that I, as the National Security Advisor, should link up with the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy to work out a blueprint to ensure we wrestle the irresponsible use of these SIM cards. Of course, I have my colleagues, the Inspector General of Police, the Director General of the Department of State Services to help in this issue.
The Nigerian leader was also emphatic that he will no longer tolerate the reported lack of synergy within the security sector.
And he has left us in no doubt. The convergence of effort, the confluence of all ideas, be they operational or intelligence, must be achieved so that we no longer, if at all, there was this notion that groups were working in silos or stovepiping, they desist from that with immediate effect. We must have a central platform to coordinate all the efforts of operations and security. It is also incumbent on the wider Nigerian population to key into whatever the security agencies are doing.
The National Security Advisor told journalists that the security chiefs assured the president at the meeting that they will not only redouble their efforts, but do whatever it takes towards reversing what he called their dwindling fortunes for the betterment of the country.
All right, joining us now on the news from the News 24 studio is Dr. Kabiru Adamu, security risk management expert. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Adamu. What are your comments on the president's new marching order to the security chiefs?
Very timely directive, as you reeled out in the statement by the National Security Advisor. The killings in several parts of the country have reached an alarming level, and it is clear that the current approach is not yielding the kind of results that the president wants. So that type of order, that type of directive coming from the highest political office in the country is very, very timely. Hopefully it will get them moving, and it would ensure that they achieve the purpose and the objectives of that the president has reeled out. Let's remember that the tripod promise made by Mr. President lies on security, economic diversification, and then the anti-corruption fight. So, and like the National Security Advisor stated, if security is not achieved, then there is no way the other two can be achieved. And let's remember, security is not just the physical security, the prevention of killings and the safety of property. Security includes health security. We're currently being faced by COVID-19. It includes food security. It includes social security and all the other ramifications of security. So the call, the directive, I think it's quite timely.
All right, what should they be doing differently to achieve quick impact against this hydra-headed monster?
A lot. Unfortunately, time will not allow us to go into the details, but I would summarize the various aspects that I think they should be doing. Number one, coordination, and I'm very happy that the National Security Advisor emphasized that point. Now, from my understanding, he himself, the National Security Advisor, has a principal role to play in that coordination. The other very important aspect is synergy, and I'm also happy that he mentioned that. Now, we have about 27 ministries, departments, and agencies that are involved in security in the country. If all of them come together and work as one, then we as Nigerians will see their effect more. However, if they work as they are doing currently in silos, without the kind of synergy and coordination that is necessary, then unfortunately the result is what we are seeing. Now let me just give an example of what I'm talking about. The UN recommendation is that there should be about 450 police persons to one policeman. Our current ratio is way not anywhere near that. My understanding is we have about 300 to 400 police officials. Now the reality, I mean, if you go to my village, for instance, it will be difficult for you to find probably more than 4 or 5 policemen deployed there. But I can bet you there are several of the 27 security agencies that I mentioned. So there will be probably the DSS that I mentioned. There will be the NCDC, the road safety, name them, even the Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Health to an extent. So if all of this come together and we have a communication system, Mr. President directed the creation of an intelligence fusion center. If that fusion center is active and effective, then all of these agencies that I've mentioned, whenever they gather intelligence, they can push it to that fusion center, and then the relevant agency out of these 27 would pick it up and use it. But currently, we have a situation where villagers are being killed. They will call the relevant security department, and unfortunately, the response is not anything to go by. So synergy, coordination, and then, of course, an improvement of the relationship between the federal and state government. And to that extent, all the ungoverned spaces, forests, mountains, and name them, that are currently ungoverned, as it were, then we need to dominate them and occupy them as soon as possible. The Constitution currently gives jurisprudence or ownership of those ungoverned spaces currently to the state governors. So as an example, Sambisa Forest is owned by the relevant state, either Borno or Yobe State, as the case may be. If you go to Zamfara, the forest where these bandits are hiding is owned by Zamfara State government or Katsina State government or even Sokoto, as the case may be. So what kind of coordination are we going to see between the state governments and the federal government to allow immediate domination and occupation of those ungoverned spaces? Our porous borders, where these weapons are coming in and where the criminals and bandits are also coming in, that's the federal government issue. And of course, we need to collaborate with our neighboring countries to ensure that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gaya. We will continue this conversation when we can. Thank you for your interventions on the show. Let me quickly come back to thank Honorable Comrade who came for all the way from Ebonyi. Of course, is right here in Abuja representing his people. Thank you for coming. Final words on the program to your people.
Yes, I have to appreciate my constituents, those that made me to be here. And I believe that definitely they are going to see the impact why they elect me to be here. And I have to commend the Nigerian. This is the first time you have seen the National Assembly doing things accordingly. The first time you've seen a budget passed by end of the year and start implementation by the beginning of the year. That is why you've seen the things of this country reshaping and seeing a competent hand in the National Assembly in the name of the Femi Gbajami-Amila as the speaker, and equally the deputy speaker was. You can see the cordial relationship in National Assembly.
Thank you very much. We've had Honorable Chinedu Oga representing Ezza South Equal Federal Constituency. That has been a political update for today. Do have a great weekend and keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority, where we give you the very best of news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.